Good evening. I'd like to call to order the July 17th, 2024 meeting of the Colerain Township Code Enforcement Review Board. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to all in attendance, Township staff, my fellow commissioners. I'd just like to give a friendly reminder to silence your electronics at this time. Christine, could we do a roll call, please?
Okay, roll call. Miss Baldwin?
Yes.
Mr. Henson?
Here.
Mr. Schaefer?
Here.
Miss Westfall?
Here.
All are present.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda would be the minutes from the June 20th meeting.
I just noted one typo in item number 6, old business, past case update, number 1A. It should read Week Road, W-E-I-K, not Work Road.
Okay. Any other corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
One of us.
All right. Motion to approve the minutes from June 20th, 2024. Miss Baldwin?
Yes.
Mr. Henson?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Miss Westfall?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Do we have anyone here for public address?
You're speaking about a specific property, correct? Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
What about the other guy? They're both speaking about the property.
Property, okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. SERB 24-15 for 2856 Sheldon Avenue.
All right, case 24-15, 2856 Sheldon Avenue. This is a what we believe is a vacant building. The owner of record is Joseph E. Brunswick. You can reference open case number or open gov case VCNT 24-22. We sent several mailings to the owner's address as listed on the auditor. The first one was sent 12/28 of 23. The second was sent May 6th of 2024. And the final certified letter was sent certified and standard mail on 6/20 of 24, giving a date of appearance of today. All mail was sent. We did not get a confirmation on the certified mail. This property was first reported vacant. It does have some past history of vacant reports, but we started it on May 6th of 2024 with the complaint this year. There are 2 other reports of vacancies dating back to April of 2022. The grass has been tall. There's been some overgrown brush, some weeds. We have not received the response from the owner. He did come in and talk to us last night, and he is present. I have driven by many times and at different times of the day and have yet to see any activity there. You can see this is what the auditor's information that we use for the mailings. This just shows that the post office did make an attempt to deliver the certified mail but was unsuccessful. These are copies of the letters that were sent. This is the first and the second letter. This is the third with the certified mail tracking information on it. And then if we go to the next slide, this is just, the history kind of showing that there, have been other times that it's been reported as being vacant, and that there was one tall grass complaint which was taken care of soon by the owner. These pictures are from the inspections when we drove by to check on vacancy. You can see at the time, the grass was tall. In May, June, it was cut. It was still the overgrown brush. Just different angles of overgrown brush on the other side. These pictures were taken on the 11th of this month. You can see that there could be some missing shingles and stuff like that, but that the grass has been cut. Some of the brush, at least on that side, has been cut back. These pictures were taken earlier today. You guys have any questions for me on it?
I have a clarification on I noticed on these letters, notice letters that's sent out, it doesn't reference the address of the owner. It referenced the address of the house being decided.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we know that they were sent to the owner? His address is on Jessup Road, right? If I'm correct on
Yeah,
that.
we send it to the owner's address. We can start taking pictures of the envelopes if the board feels that that's necessary.
Well, my only thing is that in the address letterhead of the notices, it gives the owner's name, and then it references the house name, but it also references the house name in the body of the letter. I
Right.
would think it'd be more clear if it were referenced to the owner's name up at the top by the date there to know that we've sent it to that address. Does that not make sense, or?
We can certainly look into it.
Well, and honestly, I'm just going to, the actual certified green paper, when we fill that out, since we're already making a copy of it, the Jessup Road address would be on that also. So if that's one way to solve this, we can do
Okay.
that also.
Okay.
I believe typical business practice, though, and I know at my company, when I was working, we'd say, to whoever and give their address, and then skip a line and then say regarding. So I would just think we should have the address of where it's being mailed
On the letter.
right underneath the person's name that we're addressing it to. And then below that, say what it's regarding.
Yeah, we can absolutely look into that for the future.
Any other questions
No.
from the board?
No.
Okay. We need to open the public hearing.
Yes. Motion, we open the public hearing for 2856 Sheldon Avenue.
I'll second that.
Anyone who wishes to speak on this property, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Just go up and state your name and go ahead and say what you want to say.
My name's Joe Brunswick. The house has been empty a while. I go over and work on it when I can. I got 2 bad knees and a bad hip. And when it's this hot out, I don't get a lot done. I'm mean, I'll be honest with you there, I can't really, I do what I can do. I figured, you know, I'd be getting it done, but I got like 20 people wanting to buy the place right now. Every day I get calls and texts and whatever. So I don't know if I'm gonna sell it or not yet, but it needs, the kitchen and the bathroom need to be refinished. They're about, they're partly done, they're not finished yet. So I don't know what I'm gonna, you know, I'm just slowly getting to it. I got other properties I work on that people live in that I have to get done. And finding help working is pretty hard these days. I don't know if you ever have to deal with that, but last time I had somebody work in that house, I had to go over and redo everything they did. That's kind of a losing battle for me right now.
Okay.
So do you have other property, you say you have other properties you own in Colerain Township?
Not in Colerain Township.
Okay.
I got one across the street, but same people's lived there forever.
Okay, so this property is definitely vacant.
It is.
Okay. The process would be to register it. Is there a reason that you haven't registered it?
I didn't know I had to register it.
Okay.
Why? I don't understand that part. Why do we have to register a house?
It's our process. Then we know who to get in touch with when there's a problem. If it was broken into, we have your information on file and can deal with it that way.
It's part of the actual zoning code.
Yes.
Okay, a home cannot be vacant in the township. It's
So what if somebody moves to Florida for 6 months and leaves it sit there for 6 months? It's vacant. Well, they gotta fill out a paper saying it's gonna be vacant?
that does happen, but I don't know how that is addressed, to be honest with you, but I'm telling you
Do it.
right, but I'm just telling you that as of right now, this has been vacant for multiple years. Years. I mean, I used to do zoning in 2016 and
How much it cost me a month to pay the tax bill for it right now?
yes, I understand that. But unfortunately, the registration part of it is the $500. Have you ever registered with the township at all? Used to be through multiple different entities that now you actually can register straight through the township.
Like I said, I didn't know I had to register it.
Okay.
I mean, how would I know that?
But it's township law. I mean, it's basically, it's part of the resolution that we have passed. It's been a thing for a good 10 years I know of. But like I said, it's not always, it's hard to find things that aren't actually registered in the township. So this came to us as a complaint of a vacant residence, and that's where we have since found that it is vacant, and that's why that you're here now.
Well, my guess is one of the people trying to buy the place probably reported it because I wouldn't sell it to them. And I guess they figured that'd put pressure on me. I'm not sure who else, I know everybody on the street. I don't know anybody that would report it as being vacant. I mean, I grew up on that street.
I understand. I don't know exactly how it came into us. It's a completely different case number. But unfortunately, we get called about tall grass, weeds, overhangs, and that could have started this ball rolling also. Once we go out and do an inspection for code compliance, we find that, the Mike Kaiser towing sign in the front of the house is somewhat of a giveaway that nobody's living there.
Well, every time I go over there, the neighbor on the left side's parked in my front yard or in the driveway.
I understand
And I
that.
go over there to cut the grass, and I can't even cut the grass because blocking me, and they wouldn't let me tow it unless I put that sign up.
I understand that. But I'm just saying that that's kind of like, could be the possibility of how we got to this point to realize that it's
I
a
just put
vacant.
that sign up like, what, 2 weeks ago?
It hasn't been there long.
Okay. Well, I was just looking at the photos from
That's
today.
the reason I put it up, because every time I went over there, somebody was parked in the front yard or in my driveway. And the only reason the grass wasn't cut early on is my lawnmower was broke. I fixed it, and as soon as I got it fixed, I went over and cut it. I mean, it's not like I don't go over there. I go over there a lot. I go inside, I do work in there. It's just I can't get it done that fast.
So there's two things that you can do from this point on. You can either register it within the next 2 weeks. Is that what we give?
7 days.
7 days. Register within 7 days, pay the $500. You could rent it out and then register it as a rental property through the township, which it would be $50. Or
Why do you have to register a rental property?
you have to register rental properties also in the township. So there's a lot of things you can do, or you could sell it. Those are your three options here.
Well, the guy gives me the money I'm asking for it, he's probably gonna get sold. And he did text me back the other day about, yesterday, right at about what I told him I wanted for it, so it might get sold, it may not get sold. Every time I end up, I've already went to 2 closings and they backed out on it right at the last minute.
Okay. Would this benefit you to extend this to next month to give you some time to make a decision?
Well, that might help.
Okay.
I mean, I won't have the house done, ready to rent or anything like that in a month.
Fine, but you might have some clarity within the next month of the way that you want to move forward. And like I said, we're not here to beat you up. We're not here to say you must do. We'll work with you, okay? That's all we're looking for.
All right, well, if you can give me a month, maybe I'll have it sold, or we'll figure out what I'm gonna do with it by then.
Unfortunately, that's not up to me. I think that's the board will make that decision, but I mean, I totally understand and I empathize with you, so hopefully they can take that in under consideration, sir.
All right. I guess it's up to you guys then.
I have a question. Did you receive the previous notices?
I came up yesterday because I got that last letter I got yesterday, or 3 days ago, and I came up here because I didn't know why I got the letter. And it had the letter in, I read it, and it said something about being an abandoned property or something like that on there. So that's why I came up here. I'm not saying it didn't come, but I didn't get it. I don't know. I do get a lot of junk mail.
So the other letters were sent certified, that means you would have had to sign for them.
I've never signed for any letters.
So that explains why those were not delivered.
Okay.
Like I said, I just got that last letter. I came right up here, find out what that was all about.
Only the last letter gets sent certified. This one came back saying that there was a note left at the property and that it was undelivered.
There was something hanging on the door, but it was so weathered I couldn't
Yeah.
tell what it was. I mean, that was back when we was getting all that rain.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we postpone a decision for 1 month.
Second. To return on
Our next meeting is August 21st.
August 21st,
Yes,
what, 6 o'clock?
Yes.
sir.
Put that in my phone.
Motion and a second.
She's working on it.
Okay, motion to postpone the decision for this property to the next meeting on August 21st. Ms. Baldwin,
Yes.
Mr. Henson,
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer,
Yes.
Ms. Westfall?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We'll see you again next month. We hope your things go well.
All right, thank you. Thanks.
Our next case is Serb 2416 for 7068 Memory Lane.
All right. 7068 Memory Lane. This again is a vacant building. The owner of record is a Deontay Yelling. You can reference OpenGov case number VCNT 23-74. Our first mailing was sent April 16th of 2024. The second letter was sent May 20th of 2024. The final letter was sent certified and standard mail on June 20th of 2024, giving a date of 7/17 for the curb meeting. All mail was sent to the owner's address as reflected on the Hamilton County Auditor's report. This property has a long history of being vacant. It did recently sell. When we started this process, that was all with the new owner. It was vacant for a while before that. The current owner, from what we've seen during our inspections, they have done some pretty significant repairs to the exterior of the property. I think some drainage issues, some concrete and driveways, different things of that nature. It looks like they are currently remodeling the interior. We did originally start this case with the old owner, at which point we found out that, unfortunately she was not going to return to her home, and that she was going to sell it. We did start the process over with the current owner. We have not had any communication with them. To my knowledge, nobody's called or responded to any of the letters. We did have to clear the home at one point. It was found open last fall. I believe that was before the current owner took possession. You can see the auditor's report where all the mail was sent. Again, the certified mail was not, we don't have confirmed delivery. It does say that a notice was left, no authorized recipient available. Here is the copies of the letters that we sent. First, second, and third with the certified tracking information. You can see some photos of the property. They've redone the deck, some of the different concrete around the property, some of the sidewalk, maybe some of the retaining wall. These pictures were taken today. There is a little bit of, tree debris and some tall weeds growing, I think, where they haven't been able to get grass to grow yet. But overall, they have been, reasonably maintaining the property to my knowledge.
Okay. Would someone like to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open the public meeting portion for this property.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Anyone who wishes to speak in regards to this property, please stand. Yeah, go on and stand and raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Thank you. If you could step up and state your name, please. Thank you.
Hi.
Deontay Yelling.
Hi, Deontay.
And,
Could you give us your address too, please?
my address is 1888 Miles Road.
Okay, thank you.
And I neither know about a registration thing, but the house used to belong to my mother-in-law, and it said there was vacant for, I think she's been staying with my brother for 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
But I recently, I guess it was a letter, and I went to cut the grass in December. It was like a mess, and I didn't know how bad it was, but she was like a hoarder. So she just recently sold it to me. I've been over there, I mean, I got like 2 jobs, so I get over there as much as I can, and I've been trying to maintain it, and I'm fixing on it as we speak.
Okay.
But I didn't know about a registration or anything, so I'm here to do whatever I gotta do to comply.
I commend you for for just what you've done already. Like, when we abated the house next door, it was in winter, and we finally were able to find your mother-in-law over. I believe she was at that address that you're at.
Yes.
I mean, you couldn't even see the house.
Oh, it was horrible.
So I commend you with everything you've already done there. It looks
Thank you so much.
like a completely different house.
Do appreciate you coming in and letting us know you're willing to do whatever you need to do. Is your plan to eventually sell it? Is that where you're fixing it up, or rental?
I don't know, fix it up
And see what happens.
see what happens.
Yeah,
So,
so-
I got kids that's grown and grandkids, so I like Colerain myself, so not sure. Right now, I'm just trying to keep it clean and clean it up, so. Not sure.
Did you take a building permit out for the upgrades that you're making?
Yes. The thing was they said it was so old and dated. We had, like, it's not even currently electric in there, so I had to have an electrician put everything outside. I had to go downtown, then they had to give me a permit, then they had to come out and check, so I'm still going through that process with them. I think they're scheduled to come out this week, Friday, and doing an inspection just to get electric in there. And I had to get it didn't have a water meter in there, so I'm still going through all them things and processes, but the most of the thing I was doing was just cleaning it up. So, just put new windows in it and just cleaned it up. So that's where I'm at with it now.
That's all I have.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Do you have a timeline on when you'll be finished with the property?
I thought I was gonna be finished in 90 days. Nothing ever goes, if you bump into things that go along, but I'm think I'll be done about the next 30 days. My mother-in-law, when she got the house, she planted a whole bunch of trees in the back. So it's just been cutting down trees and just getting debris and stuff away. So then I keep looking, just trying to, but I'll pretty much be finished in the next 30 days.
With your inside
Yes.
renovation too?
Yes.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we postpone the decision on this property for 2 months.
Okay. Would that give you,
That'd be great.
okay. I'm not exactly sure what the date is on our September meeting, just a sec.
It's the 18th.
Okay. So we will postpone, I'm sorry, we didn't vote on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to vote on it.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Christine?
Okay, motion to postpone the decision on this property to the September 18th, 2024 meeting. Ms. Baldwin?
Yes.
Mr. Henson?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Ms. Westfall?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
We'll see you then, and good luck.
That's my dad's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see no old business. Our next meeting will be August 21st, and I would entertain a motion to close the meeting.
I
Okay, do you have something?
got some questions.
Sorry?
This process seems to be a hassle for some of the people. I think it'd be worth, and they come into question knowing, why do I have to do this? If something could be written that explains, the whole process to them. Now, we don't mail this out to the whole township. when we have a case, that we give this explanation, and maybe you do have a good explanation, I don't know, that it's mailed to them. And, you know, because they come in and they don't know, you know, why do I need to pay something because it's vacant? I'm not getting any rent for it.
Didn't-
Or, you know, why my son-in-law's living there, why do I have to say that's a rental? You know, just explaining these things so they don't come here and ask us, they already know those. I just,
I believe some of that explanation was in the initial letters that we sent out when we started.
Yeah, some of the letters explain it, and anytime somebody has a question, and they call or they stop in, we explain it to them. Unfortunately, a lot of the people we see here don't respond to the letter until
Until they're,
they get the letter that tells them to come here.
okay.
You know, we'd love it if more people called, because most of the time when we explain to them, you know, that why you're registering a vacant, we explain that, you know, we need to know for security purposes, you know, why is there a fee? Well, there's a fee to keep you invested in the community. When, you know, you're paying that fee, then you're more invested in the property. You're keeping the property or the project moving forward. You know, you're invested in it at that point, where it's not just another property on your books that sits there. So, you know, that's why we found the fee to be helpful. We can certainly put together flyers for people. It's just unfortunate that a lot of people don't reach out until they show up here.
I agree that we're still gonna get most of them, don't pay any attention to it until they have to come here. But I just think it'd be a little bit more, you know, say, consumer or citizen friendly to explain this. And you say what the law is, but make a background of why it's important for us to have this law. And, you know, if we say there's examples of, you know, if the auditor's address is not up to date, we don't know that. We don't know if our mail is going to the right spot. Just kind of try to win them over even before they come here.
Right.
And for the vacant property, they pay, it's a $500 one-time charge
Every 6 months.
every 6 months.
And that's been changed based on feedback in the past. That, you know, it used to be $1,000 and it was valid for a year. A lot of people said, well, it's not going to be vacant
that
for that long. So to make it more friendly, we were able to change it to where it's $500 and it's a shorter term. It's still ultimately the same. It just helps people, especially like the smaller, you know, mom and pop property owners, if you will. It helps them by not having to pay for a full year, essentially.
And more motivation to get it done in that 6 months, rather than
Right.
let it for the last 2 months of their year.
Yeah, and I honestly think, I mean, they get 2 letters. Them choosing to ignore those 2 letters is on them. I mean, if and it's up to them to have their legal mailing address on public record. So if they've failed to do that, then when anything we send out, I don't think is going to be any more helpful to anybody, because if you want to know, you'll call when you get that first letter, take care of it long before you end up sitting in here in front of us.
No, I'm saying that we run into problems, not necessarily with their property, but that's why explain the need for the law. Not just say what the law is and you gotta comply. I think they'd
I think,
like it a little bit better if we explained.
I think we can have things out in the vestibule or out there where they can say, you know, we can put a flyer together of why are you here? You know, and explain, make it a little, that way when they're sitting here at the beginning, they can actually maybe read over it and understand prior to getting up and saying that, I understand that this is an issue and I understand I'm responsible for this. I was not aware of it, but now I am. type thing.
But I'd suggest that we mail, whether it's a flyer or letter or whatever the explanation we have is, that covers the need, why the law was, written in the first place.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's like, it'll be one more piece of paper to put into the envelope, and we can make sure that we get it done.
Yes. Now, if somebody's building a new house, at what point is it considered vacant?
I would imagine once it has a certificate of occupancy.
Yeah.
Because you can't legally live in it till it's been issued. That's typically issued when it's finished and when it's going to be occupied.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
think new construction falls under the purview of the vacant property, though.
No, and
Because
the reason
it's
I,
never been lived
because
in.
you, as an owner, you don't take or you can't take ownership of that until you actually sign the mortgage and things like that. It's still in the name of the builder, if you will, and it's still not livable if you're quoting that as, you can't live in it until the actual builder says that this is cleared to be lived in, and it has all its permits and done through the
Okay,
county.
what I'm getting to is, if, in this last case, he bought a house, or if his mother-in-law's or mother's house, whatever, I don't know, would we have, if you went into it, do you think it would be considered livable?
No.
Okay,
I mean, he said there's no electric or water at this point,
so
so.
I was thinking if they take out a building permit, it shouldn't be considered vacant. I mean, it's just like a new house. The new house, it's all framed, it just doesn't have everything done. If this house doesn't have a working bathroom, it's not livable, but he took out a permit.
No, I mean, I definitely understand what you're trying to say, and I appreciate that. In my opinion, the difference with, new construction, you have a builder there that's motivated and they build a house within 90 days. A lot of them, 180 max. A lot of the properties we have that are under renovation, they sit there and they're vacant 30 days, 60 days, 90, 6 months, and there's just a lot more that, in a builder we can communicate with. A lot of these homeowners, we don't get any communication or response from until they're here. And a lot of times by the time they're here, for example, if somebody buys a property on January 1st, before that sale is recorded at the auditor, that's probably February 1st, if not later. And if we were to find it right away, it's still 3 months before they get here. So we're 5+ months into it being vacant and into a remodel. I mean, I think it's important to keep those projects moving. I can think of several properties where, somebody's gone to flip them or remodel and they make a lot of improvement very quickly and then it stops. And then it's overgrown, and then some of the repairs that they've made are deteriorating, and so.
Well, and if we look just at these two cases, the second case, the initial letter went out in April. So they had April, May, June, we're in July. That's already 4 months. So, and then if we look at the first case, the initial letter went out in December. So now we're 7 months in. I think the timing on it, there's plenty of time there. And we're being, I don't want to say we're working with the citizens on both cases tonight. We've extended them. It's not that we don't want it to be a problem for them. We just want them to comply in one way or the other.
Well, I'm looking
Can I
at
just add one thing before we move on? That him redoing this and redoing that home was a choice.
Yes.
It is his choice to redo this stuff. He could have sold the home as is and made money off of it. He's choosing to invest in this property and move and do the upgrades.
Move it
Where
forward.
solidifying it as a vacant structure. It's not like an actual new building. He's choosing to do this, hence he's choosing to keep it vacant instead of turning a profit. And where I think that's where the difference is, my opinion.
Okay. If, well, what I'm looking at is the $500. I'd say a lot of the people, that's a lot of money to them that could be going towards the renovation. And the example of how long it takes a builder, well, I built my own house, and I worked on it for over 2 years before we moved in. And now that I'm retired, I volunteer with an organization called Working in Neighborhoods, and I'm rehabbing a house for them in South Cumminsville. And it's, we gutted everything, and I've been working on that for them as a volunteer for 3 years. So they would, if they were in Colerain Township, they would have had to pay $3,000 because the building's vacant. But, we have an extensive building permit for it. Everything was replaced, all the interior walls. But anyway, it seems like I'd hate to see the charity have to pay $3,000 because it's taken us 3 years to do. I only work on it, say, 1.5 days a week. And my brother-in-law's helped me also. But it's for a charity that's trying to sell homes to first-time home buyers in in low-income neighborhoods. But so I'd like to think if they took out a building permit, that means they're making progress. They paid money for a building permit. Maybe that makes it more like a new one.
So let me ask you this. What's the difference, in your opinion, with them paying for a building permit through the county versus paying for a vacant building maintenance license through the township?
Well, because of it, they're working on it, so they're paying for two things. So,
There's a lot of cities that charge a lot more than this to have vacant property or to get building permits and that type of thing. It's just
and
it's
the
an
building
operating
permits are
expense.
expensive, but if they paid for a building permit, I would say that's, they're doing some significant repairs, and if there's a building permit issued for it, it's being worked on, it's not necessarily vacant. Now, I don't believe that we can make that change. I think that.
No, it's part of our code, so we have to follow the law of
Yes.
what was passed, and vacant means no one's living. I could pull up the definition, but if no one's living there in a property, it is considered vacant.
Yeah.
But, what about, the builders, when they complete a house and it's not sold yet, do they,
That becomes a business. If they use it as a market home, it's a business, or a listed property is not considered vacant if it's actively being sold. They've never had one come up as being vacant when it's actively being sold.
Well, and in this market, is that,
New construction takes a little bit longer, but
it does, but still.
yeah, I do understand your points, but the way it's written now, it doesn't. Those things don't come into play. If it is vacant and it's not being lived in, and it comes on our radar, we do have to pursue it as a vacant property.
but, and I understand that, but if they have taken out a building permit, they're making improvements to it, and I would like to think that they would not have to pay the $500 every 6 months.
A building permit says they have intention to work on it. It doesn't mean that the work is actually being done. The building is still vacant, the way the code is written. I don't think that we have any wiggle room on it right now.
No, I agree that we don't.
Okay, then,
But that would go a long way towards me saying, okay, we'll give you time to work on it, like, that's why I asked the last gentleman.
Right?
But I would like to think if you would agree with me that they're already paying for a building permit, that ask the township trustees to reconsider and say, in that case, it's not considered vacant.
And how is that different than our extending the time that we want any action on it? I mean, you can ask the trustees, that's your prerogative, and they can act on it according to their wants. But I think that we're doing basically the same thing by extending their time. Neither one of them had to register right now. We've given them another 30 days and another 60 days. So, I don't know, I think we're talking around in a circle, maybe? Does that, we can't act on your request, so I think that's where we are.
Right, well, I would like, if you would agree with me, we could ask the trustees to reconsider or to refine that law that says if there's a building permit issued, that it would not be considered vacant. There
So
may be
you're
some other
asking us
contingencies with that.
to do that as a whole board? Is that what you're,
No, what,
okay,
I,
to ask the trustees?
if we agreed that we thought taking out a building permit means that they've got some intent on fixing it up and they've spent money for the permit, that we would not see a need to, not that we would think, if we agreed that the township would not need to charge $500 every 6 months until the work is completed, well, and then you'd have to get a tenant or sell it by then anyway. I think this is a little bit harsh if somebody is trying to fix the place up.
And as much as I understand your point, I don't think it's the purview of this board to be able to do that. And I honestly, I don't agree with it. I think that this is the law and it has to be followed. It's
no, I
it's an
agree
operating
that-
expense when you're fixing up a vacant home.
Okay, I'm just
So
saying
I
is,
guess my point is are we making a motion and having a discussion? Because I mean, we've gone through the business, so I'm not sure what you want us to do at this point as a board.
if we agreed that it would be more significant or have more weight to the trustees if we said, we think it would be a good idea for the trustees to revisit this and to say that if, modify the law so that if a building permit was taken out,
Can I
would not
just,
vacant.
real quick, everybody has the right to say yay or nay on different properties. I think it comes down to your personal choice. I don't think we can ask them to change the actual resolution to especially when you have an outside entity, which is Hamilton County Building. They're in charge of the permits, and if you're building a home or you're doing the things like that, the trustees wouldn't have anything to do with that entity. I think that everybody has a yes or no when they come to a thing. If you feel passionate about that, and every time that situation comes in front of the board, we would probably think that you would be a no, and we would probably think that somebody else would be a yes. No matter what happens, I mean, it's a majority vote.
Yep.
So, that's where I think the beauty is, and I see what Ellen's saying is that what you're requesting is completely understandable, but what you're requesting is null and void because we are already extending the time, and that's what this was board was created to do, to work with our residents. And we are doing that. We are not slamming them with charges and saying, nope, we said you got to get it done. We're working with them. If they ask for 30 days, we'll give them 30. If we're asking for 60, we're giving them 60. That way, we are working with them, and they're still having to adhere to the rules and show progress. And I think that's the most important thing that we're only trying to do is make Colerain a better place. And I think that is what we're able to do when we give them extra time. We don't have to change any resolutions. We don't have to change any rules. I don't think we need to address it further than everybody has their opinion. They vote yay or nay, and then we move on, because as long as everybody's in agreement that we give them extra time and we work with our residents, because that's the main important thing here, is that we work with them. And I don't think we need to change anything. It's my personal opinion.
And mine too. If we didn't have the option of giving them time, then I could see your point. But because we have an option to give them time, and we ask what they think they need, I don't see a reason to change it, personally. I mean, everybody is entitled to their opinion.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, and we can't change it. I'm just saying, if you agreed with me, and as a board, if we suggested to the trustees, they would look at it more seriously than if it was just me. But you're right that we do have a way out by letting them have time. But if you could see that there was a building permit taken, they wouldn't even need to come here. But
There's a reason for them to come and to see, and for us to know that they're making progress. I think we've extended this conversation
Yeah, right.
about as
I
far
don't
as it's
see
going to
any
go. I would entertain a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:54 PM. Ms. Baldwin?
Yes.
Mr. Henson?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Ms. Westfall?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.